Hey everyone, welcome back. So today, we've got a really special explainer lined up for you. If you are just totally exhausted by those copy and paste marketing funnels and that whole guru culture, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to unpack some amazing insights from a creator who literally just hit a massive milestone, 250 continuous live broadcasts. But look, this isn't just about celebrating showing up. We're actually going to explore the evolution of the modern, authentic online business. We're talking about moving way beyond repetitive formulas and figuring out how to build a thriving community around your genuine self. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We've got 6 key takeaways from this epic 250-episode journey. First, we'll tackle the mountain of consistency, then hosting the daily party and who is your audience. After that, we'll get into a really cool ChatGPT revelation, talk about how to build your authentic dream, and wrap it all up with the superpower of rapport. Let's get to it.
Starting right off with Section 1, the mountain of consistency.
250. Just think about the sheer weight of that number for a second. In the source material we're looking at, this creator, who operates in what they call the hustleverse, just finished 50 full weeks, showing up live 5 days a week. That is wild. And here's why it matters. The absolute strongest leaders, they don't have to convince people to follow them. Their actions do all the talking. When you tell your community they need to be consistent, believe me, they are going to look right back at your track record. 250 shows is undeniable proof. And at the end of the day, people follow proof.
But how do you actually maintain that kind of momentum? Well, it requires a very specific mindset. It's the difference between seeing a finish line versus a checkpoint. You know, a lot of people hit a big milestone, they celebrate a little too early, and then they just stop climbing. They treat it like a final destination. But highly successful people, they look at these massive wins like base camp checkpoints. It's a spot to catch your breath, take in the view, reflect on how much you've grown, and then immediately look up at the next peak. Because every mountain peak you reach simply reveals a higher mountain waiting right behind it. The momentum just doesn't stop. And as you keep climbing, the environment around you changes, right? At higher altitudes, the air literally changes. When you hit new levels of success, your expectations shift, the challenges get tougher. Honestly, comfort zones completely disappear. If you look down for too long, you're going to get dizzy. So the goal isn't just to reach the summit, it's to adapt to that thinner air. You have to get comfortable at this new altitude so you can survive and keep ascending. The person who adapts to the altitude is the one who keeps climbing.
Which brings us to our second section, hosting the daily party. I want you to think about this question for a second. Would you invite your friends to a party that might not even happen? Imagine you find this awesome daily party. You naturally want to bring your friends, right? But what if the host shows up Monday, totally disappears on Tuesday, and maybe, just maybe, pops in on Thursday? You'd be super hesitant to invite anyone because you can't guarantee it's going to be a good time. Inconsistency completely destroys confidence. If your audience never knows if you're actually going to show up, there is no way they'll risk their own reputation by bringing others into your community.
So, what's the fix? Showing up reliably. Every single day builds 4 absolute pillars: trust, security, confidence, and community growth. It's pretty simple. People only promote experiences they can 100% depend on. By showing up 250 times, this creator built a rock-solid, secure space where people felt totally confident bringing their own networks in. Reliability is what actually creates that growth.
Moving right along to Section 3, who is your audience?
This part actually stems from a pivotal moment when a mentor asked the creator a super simple but brutally tough question. Who exactly is your target audience? To answer that, the creator realized they had to make a sharp distinction: talkers versus builders. Talkers love to consume information. They discuss theories all day and they just watch other people work. Builders, on the other hand, create products, they launch projects, and they take visible action. The ideal person for this authentic community, they aren't looking for another pep talk. They want implementation. They want a mentor who's actually building things right in front of them. Builders don't just admire success, they create it.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, the ChatGPT revelation.
This is where things get really fascinating. To truly nail down their audience, the creator used an AI co-pilot as a sort of brutally honest mirror. The AI analyzed dozens of live show transcripts and spit out this brilliant distinction between categories and identity. It essentially told the creator, look, your audience isn't affiliate marketers or AI creators or musicians. Those are just categories. The true audience is bound by an actual identity, the creative entrepreneur. These are people who crave self-expression, meaning, and freedom. The AI realized that speaking to broad categories just muddles your message, but speaking to a shared identity, That creates a movement. And you know, this shared identity carries some pretty deep internal frustrations. Creative entrepreneurs don't wake up dreaming about learning affiliate marketing. They just want to turn the stuff they already love into an income. They hate feeling salesy, they absolutely despise cold messaging, and they reject standard guru culture. They just want to build their skills and their assets around who they naturally are, without having to morph into some traditional, sleazy marketer.
The AI even generated this thesis statement for the audience, and wow, it hits hard. Stop building someone else's online business, build one that fits you. I mean, that perfectly captures the rejection of those repetitive copy and paste funnels. Why are you trying to squeeze yourself into a box that was never made for you in the first place? You really don't need to become someone else to succeed. You just need to become more of who you already are. Which brings us to section 5, build your authentic dream.
Once you realize who you are and who you're serving, the natural next step is to build around your actual passions. Build around your personality, your ideas, and your unique strengths. Traditional marketing can feel so much like a rigid, boring university classroom. But this alternative? It's more like the after party. It's a creative lab full of edutainment, music, and storytelling where people just get to be themselves. And let's be real, people are always going to remember a unique, fun experience way more than they'll ever remember dry textbook information.
And finally, we are at section 6, the superpower of rapport. So what's the hidden, deeply human mechanism making this whole authentic blueprint actually work? The creator traces it all the way back to a corporate call center job they left in 2018. Now, usually the metric in a call center is getting people off the phone in under 7 minutes. But the creator totally flipped this. Step 1, sure, handle the basic tech or billing issue, but then step 2, intentionally go off script. Start talking to the customer about their life, their day. By step 3, they were forming these deep personal connections, purposely dragging a 7-minute call out to 30, 40, sometimes over an hour, literally until the system automatically disconnected them.
And what that taught them is a core truth of modern business. Relationships create opportunities. That exact customer service skill, the art of having an unscripted, genuine human conversation, that is your ultimate business multiplier. It's the exact same muscle that lets a creator jump on camera, speak naturally, connect deeply, and deliver value live for 250 episodes straight. Because people don't just buy products, right? They buy into relationships.
So let's wrap up this explainer with the exact challenge the creator left us with. Are you my target audience? Are you building someone else's dream or your own? I want you to really take a moment and reflect on that as you gear up to climb your next mountain. Please don't settle for the blueprint if it doesn't actually fit the builder. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep climbing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me. Yeah. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash. Like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire. Waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you hire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realize purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't an applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Yeah. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feel misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. I say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason. I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling. I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This is what it looked like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated. They the most committed to something deeper than motivation. I don't need a reason. Don't need a reason. I am the reason. Am the reason. I don't need the feeling. Don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. Move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it. Borrowing it.
The myth of the safe path. You ever notice how everybody tells you to play it safe? Go to college, pick the right major, get the stable job. But what if I told you even that world is falling apart? Because right now, college students across the country are scrambling not for success, but for survival in a future nobody can predict. 70% of students fear AI will take their jobs before they even graduate. Not just business majors, not just tech majors, everybody. One student switched from business analytics because the skills she was learning, coding, statistics, can now be automated by AI. Another is thinking about abandoning data science entirely because she's not sure the job market will even exist by the time she finishes school. Current page. And here's the wild part. Even the experts, advisors, professors, university leaders, admit they don't know what jobs will be safe in 10, 20, or 30 years. Imagine that. You're paying thousands of dollars for people who can't even tell you if your major will matter. So if you've been scared to start your entrepreneurial journey, if you've been waiting for the right time, if you've been clinging to the idea of job security, look around. Students are switching majors out of fear. Workers are getting replaced by technology they didn't see coming, and the safe path everyone told you to follow? It's disappearing. But here's the truth. The only path that's actually safe is the one you build yourself. Your skills, your creativity, your hustle, your ability to adapt, that's the real AI-proof major. If you've been waiting for a sign to start your business, to bet on yourself, to stop hesitating, this is it.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 51, day 1, and we are right at 17 minutes into today's challenge. So let's start by peeling the curtain back. And we want to start off this new leg of the journey. We want to start it off on a strong foot. And we want to start it off on such a strong foot that everything becomes so clear to you. Everything becomes crystal clear as to where you are now and where you should be headed, the direction that you should be going when it comes to building your online business. So today I had to, change it up a little bit. I changed out the hustle hat. So we still got that hustle on us, but we changed it out. So instead of the gray and black hustle hat, we got the red and black hustle hat, right? So this right here, we want to get straight to what we need to be doing. We want to be laser focused. We want to have that red light beam that we just aiming at everything that we need to target. We're going to put that laser red light beam on everything that we need to hit. And today is going to be that starting point. So as I said in the beginning intro, last week I celebrated 50 weeks of consistency, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. EST time. That's 250 live broadcasts I have done. So if I didn't have the confidence in myself before, as far as me feeling like I could be consistent at something, that right there, that lack of confidence is gone. I can no longer ever be challenged by anyone when it comes to at least that one area, that area of consistency. No matter what was going on, no matter what struggles, what challenges that came up, I still showed up. And it makes me feel like, or it makes me think about rather, a soldier going into war. How you have your troops and you have your general. And imagine being a soldier in war. You standing there with the rest of the soldiers, and the war has been waging for months. And then the general doesn't show up. The general takes a sick day. And then the next day, the general takes another sick day. And the soldiers still have to show up on a daily basis because this online industry, this online business pursuit, this pursuit of happiness, let's call it, right? Your own personal journey for success It never stops. And each day that you're on this journey, it might feel like you're starting all over again. You look at yesterday's result and you say to yourself, man, I didn't really move the needle. Things didn't really happen the way that I wanted it to happen. But you get to wake up another day and you say, okay, we about to go back to war. We about to get this started once again. This is our next 24 hours to get things done. And that journey, that battle is something that continuously wages. That's been something that has been true for me. And maybe that's something that's true for you. Now, for the majority of people, I know for a fact they're living a a life of war, a life where there's a continuous battle. And each day, that battle, you know, it comes with its challenges. I know a lot of people out there that they're losing battles on a daily basis. That's just a fact. Some people they show up, they put a smile on their face, they put on a persona, they make you feel and believe as though they're winning the battle every day, that every day is just a bright, sunny spot, but it's not. There's so many people that are struggling to be able to build an online business. And more than likely, you're one of those people, whether you want to admit it or not. I'm gonna be honest. I struggle on a daily basis. That's just keeping it real. Every day isn't a day where a commission comes in. Every day isn't a day where somebody comments or likes my posts, or I feel like, you know, they should have showed up for me. Honestly, sometimes I get a little petty. I have those thoughts to myself like, yo, it's crazy. I produce the best content in the world when it comes to this online marketing. I produce stuff that's, you know, above average. And you might feel the same way about what you do. And you look at the results and you say, hey, they didn't show up. The traffic, the traffic didn't come. The people didn't respond in a way that I feel as though they should have responded. And that's part of the battle. See, you can go to war and be in a constant battle on a daily basis and you letting off, right? You dropping those hits. And you think that you're making major dents, you're blowing up stuff, right? You're doing all this kind of stuff on a daily basis, making these posts, thinking that you're making major dents and major waves. But in actuality, at the end of the day, it's like all it did was just land on deaf ears. It just it made a explosion, so to speak, but it didn't land on anything. Nobody ever witnessed it. It's kind of like how they say if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, yeah, we know that it makes a sound, but if nobody's there to hear it, then did it really make a sound? That's a great question. That's a psychological question. And every day there's somebody or there's a majority of people that are going through this situation. But we want to help change that. Here in the Hustleverse, we want to make sure that you have a clear line. You have your targets in line. You know what it is that you need to be doing on a daily basis. You know what it is that you need to be focused on. And you know what you need to stay away from as far as distractions. Now, there's going to be a lot of shiny objects that come up once when you're in the midst of the battle. There's going to be things that's going to try to distract you and keep you unfocused from what your major goals are. But you have to stay consistent and you have to stay laser focused on what it is that you need to be aiming at. So I just want to go over real quick in this new leg of the journey. Once again, I want to make sure that there's absolute clarity as to what we are building here. And me personally, just like they said in the intro training, I want to identify who's my target audience. Because once again, I'm a little petty. And sometimes I think about stuff and, I might talk about it one time. I might let it, you know, you know, reflect in my mind right there in the situation. And then it might still linger in my mind days later. But the question that I was asked previously about who's my target audience, you know, sometimes, when you sit back and reflect on when you were in the moment and how you responded and how you answered, I think we all kind of think to ourselves, I should have said this, I should have said that. But you weren't thinking about it in the midst of the conversation or whatever the situation was. When I think about who's my target audience, once again, I think about, real life people, real life everyday people, people that have a soul. I do the intro for multiple reasons. I do the intro to edutain my audience. So to give them that education and to give them that entertainment. Now, if you don't want to be entertained in such a way that you're inspired and motivated, then you're not my target audience. If you don't think that Internal Drive a song is one of the most powerful and one of the best songs that you've ever heard in your life, then not only are you possibly not my target audience, but more than likely you don't have a soul. And let's just be honest. It is what it is. Me personally, I'm not attracted to people that don't have a soul. So if you listen to that song and it does nothing for you, if it doesn't make you feel anything, then you're not my target audience. Maybe you like something that's a little more, to put it politically correct, vanilla. Maybe you just like something that's a little bit, corny. But me personally, I don't vibe with corny stuff. I don't vibe with, below average type of content. I don't vibe with soulless people that is just cool with watching paint dry. You know, that's just me. I can't be that. Where I'm from, we used to always laugh and clown the, the corny person. Like, yo, you corny, you know? I was never into fashion and stuff like that. Couldn't really care about, the latest trends and clothes and Jordans and stuff like that. But still, we recognize who was the corny person. You know, you wearing zirconias or whatever. You you just have this type of vibe about you. And that's cool. That's cool. You have respect and love for everybody. But everybody's not made to be in every circle. So if this red hustle hat doesn't vibe with you, maybe you're not my target audience. If you're not the type of person to put on a fitted cap, if you've never put on a fitted cap before, then maybe you're not my target audience. If you've never said a 4 or 5 letter word, you know what type of words I'm talking about, then maybe you're not my target audience. If you've never struggled at a job wanting, to get up out of there, or, you know, wanting to strive for more, you might not be my target audience. Maybe if you've never lived in a situation where there was real hustlers, people that got up and got things done by any means necessary, so to speak, right? If you've never had to, you know, live through certain situations, then maybe you're not my target audience. And you just can't vibe with what I have going on. And that's cool. That's okay. There's a place for you somewhere. Somebody else has a group, somebody else has a product or service, somebody else has a blueprint and a system that's designed just for you. But over here in the Hustleverse, we are here for a special select group of people. It might be a small group of people, but that group of people are some of the realest people that you'll ever find. People with passion, people that have, drive and soul, People that'll, stand on 10 toes, as we say. People that'll curse you out if you come across them the wrong way. You know, it is what it is. That's my type of people, gets me excited because I think about it. I was having a conversation, and matter of fact, I was having a chat message with a business partner, and I was saying that I haven't lived in the hood in probably over 10 years, but that's where I come from. And I never forget where I come from. But when I go back to visit, when I go back to places like, one of my favorite fish spots where I go get my seafood from, I have to go to the other side of town in order to, experience that, to get that type of food. Because where I live now, it's different. It's it's not culturally the same. I don't have the same access up the street to the same products and services that I would if I lived in the hood. So I have to move from my specific area in order to get the things that I'm used to. And even though it ain't all good in the hood, right? But me being from the hood and me, loving and respecting and appreciating the fact that if I wasn't raised there, I probably wouldn't have a soul. Let's be honest. I probably would be a little vanilla. Let's keep it real. But when I go there and I get to see my community, people that I vibe closest with, and I see that there's a major difference. There's a as they say, there's a different swag. There's a different way they walk. There's a different way they talk than what I see on a daily basis in the neighborhood that I live in. And the thing about it is, even though, you know, I would never want to go back to that particular lifestyle, I wouldn't want to necessarily wake up every day and still have to live in those type of situations and surroundings. But but it feels good to be there. I feel like I could be myself. I feel like when I'm up in that fish spot and I see people coming in that remind me of home. See, I'm here currently in Richmond, Virginia, or Midlothian, Virginia, but I'm from Strong Island, New York. So they don't talk much about Strong Island, New York, right? They don't mention us when they talk about, the five boroughs of New York and everything. When they talk about New York, New York, they don't really talk about Strong Island. But we here, and we're a special group of people. We're right there on that island, and you know, is a certain type of culture, certain type of way that I was raised and I grew up. And when I see people that come from those people that might not have, the tech skills or might not have ever been introduced to this type of information that we share here in the Hustlers 10 Minute a Day Challenge. People that might not necessarily wake up every day thinking about building an online business. People that, might think about doing a business, but it ain't all legit. That's all right. That's all right. That's where I come from. And when I think about my target audience, I think about those people that, I used to hang out with, those people that I saw struggling, those people that I know that if given the right opportunity, that was shown the right things, that they would be able to make just as powerful or impactful of a life for themselves doing it this way as they might be able to do it doing it the way that they're doing it currently. See, I come from a place where people struggle and they work together, right? And if somebody didn't have something, you know, okay, it was cool. We just didn't have it. Sometimes, you had to go get it. You got it by any means necessary. But then once when you got that little piece of what you had, you know, if you had a tight knit group, if you had a small team, you shared and you broke it down with your team. And that's how things go. And if you weren't part of the crew, if you weren't part of the team, then it's like, every man for themselves, every man, every woman for themselves. I knew men and women that had certain mentalities. Some women, rougher than some dudes that you might know. But that's cool. You know, things like that, when I think about it and reflect on it, it makes me smile. It makes me smile. Whereas somebody that's not my target audience, they might be somewhat disgusted by it. They might be turned off by that type of environment. They might be turned off by that type of attitude, that type of soul, that type of spirit. But I'm not. And that's when I talk about my target audience. I'm somebody that, listens to hip hop. I'm strong into hip hop and positive hip hop, and let's be honest, gangster rap, everything like that. I grew up on all of that. But I learned how to internalize and how to use the various aspects of what I've been through and what I've seen in order to build something productive. And a lot of people, they don't get the opportunity to even be presented with an alternate route. And I want to be the one to speak to that audience. I want to be the one to, talk to those people that that might have been used to using a specific type of tech. We're not going to talk about it. And I want to introduce them to a different kind of tech, online tech, being able to build something, being able to have something that you don't necessarily have to put in a Ziploc bag, being able to have something that you can create and it be unlimited and you can produce and sell over and over and over again. See, the skills is there. The skills is there in the hood. Some of the most skilled people in the world come from the hood. Some of the most skilled and most successful online people, online business owners, they come from that, but they found a way to turn it from a negative type of investment into a positive type of investment. So me personally, I decided that I wanted to flip what I know and flip the negative into the positive. So I decided that, okay, I wanted to create a system where it's focused around music. Now, I could have went the route of creating music that was detrimental, music that was designed to, fill your mind with negative thoughts. But I decided that I wanted to create music that was specifically for my niche of entrepreneurs, people that wanted to stay inspired and motivated on a daily basis. So that 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 one thing that I think about is Master P pops up in my mind. One of the, you know, pioneers and one of the best to ever do it when it comes to going from a bad situation, seeing an opportunity and making the best of that opportunity and doing it at such a high level that he's made himself a multi-millionaire and he inspires millions of people on a daily basis. He turned something that, once again was a negative into a positive. He put what he was doing in life and he put it on wax, as they say. He put it in the music. He used his entrepreneurial skills and flipped it from one product to applying it to multiple products. And that's the sign of a real hustler. See, just because you might be used to and you seem like you might be attracted to, you know, putting something in a Ziploc bag, it doesn't mean that you can't turn around and be able to, put it in music, or like Master P, put it in clothing, put it in cereal box. That's what it means to be a real hustler. Somebody that sees an opportunity, somebody that develops the foundational skills, and they say to themselves, man, if I can do it in this area, then I can apply those foundational skills and those blueprints to this area, that area, that area. And then the product could be anything, but we just have to maintain the hustle and the foundational principles. So I decided to use music because it's something that I've been passionate about all my life. And it's something that I know my target audience is possibly passionate about too. They might not make the same type of music that I make. They might want to make strictly gangster music. They might just want to make, you know, just hardcore music or whatever. Or maybe my target audience, maybe they might be into a little country music, but they still just have that hustle. They they know how they grew up, and they know that music vibes with them, and it speaks to them, and they just have that hustle. They've been through some things, and they want to communicate what they've been through whatever genre of music, right? But that's just the basis of what we do. We create music that speaks to our audience. We talk to them about products and services that we have to offer, right? So just like in the world of hip hop, there's a message in the music. Now, whatever the message is, you have to get it for yourself from that music. Some people glorify certain things. It might be positive or negative. They might glorify, or promote products and services throughout the music, and you might be missing the message. Some people might hear a song and say, "Hey, I don't like that. That don't vibe with me," because they think or they feel as though it's a negative song where it's actually not. So my target audience knows how to identify with certain things. They're deep thinkers. They're people that analyze stuff. They're people that listen to music, for example. They listen to rap lyrics and they dissect verses. They listen to what's being said in it, and they like, oh, that was a hot line right there. So they're analytical type of people. They're people that can hear something and they actually listen to it. They listen to it and they're able to recite what was said, and they're able to understand the references. There might be so many lines and songs that, reference movies, products, services, and other people will hear it and they don't know what's going on in the song. They just hear the beat. See, that's my target audience. People that go deeper than just hearing a sound and bobbing their head to something and not understanding. See, that's what makes me different. And that's what makes my target audience different. Because where other people might be looking at us thinking that they're wild, they're crazy, you know, and they just don't get us, they just don't understand who we are. We looking at each other like they're the weirdos. We're the type of people that can be in a crowd and the situation go down and we don't have to say two words. We can just give each other a head nod. We could give each other a hand signal. And that's enough communication between us because we're special type of people. Whereas other people, they're hysterical. They're running around screaming. They're running around doing this and that, not knowing how to respond, how to react. But we looking at each other, we giving our signals, our slight signals, and we understand because we know how to read. We know how to interpret. We have developed certain skill sets that allow us to be in a different type of position, in a different realm of consciousness. That's my target audience. And that's why I'm probably one of the most diverse online marketers there is. There's some people like me, but they might not convey the information the same way. It's some people that, experience the same things, seen things, but they never found a way to be able to translate that that feeling or that information into something like this. See, when people look at my content, a lot of times they get confused. They're like that person that listens to the songs and they don't understand the lyrics. But there's a message in every bar. There's a message in everything that I do because I've been crafted in such a way that consistency doesn't just stop for me when it comes just with doing 250 lives, showing up on a daily basis. Consistency continues with me when it comes to just about everything that I do. So how I listen to music, how I, pay attention to the way the wind blows, everything about what I do and how I craft things and how I construct things is based off of core principles. And I want you to understand that. And hopefully that vibes with you. And hopefully, if you're watching, you are my target audience. So I wasn't intending on really getting that deep into that particular conversation, but I felt like in the heat of the moment that that's something that needed to be addressed and talked about because we're all looking to identify with someone and we're all looking for clarity. We're all looking to be understood because, you know, decision making is done best when understanding is present. When clarity is there, then people are able to make the best decisions possible. So to just jump into what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and I'm not even going to spend too much time on it. I'm going to pull up another page here. And this is, one of my other favorite tools. I talk to you guys about it. I share with you things using this tool consistently, right? It's Canva. So I open up another document and I just have this one card right here. And I want to talk to you guys real quick about the Hustleverse core skill sets. And I want this to help add clarity to your journey so that you know what we are about and you know what you should be about in order to help you get from your current level to whatever level you potentially can reach, right? So the Hustleverse core skill sets, and this is something that you're going to need in order to build a successful business. I don't care what product or service you're promoting, whatever it is. These are the core principles that we're going to focus on within the Hustleverse. So let me peel it back. First one, content creation. Now, content creation, it's a big deal. Now, a lot of times when we talk about building a business, the first thing that I hear, even some of my coaches talk about is traffic. So traffic, that's the lifeblood of your business. But you're not going to attract traffic without first having content. If you don't have any content, then that means you don't have anything to show to anybody, and there's no reason for them to even look at you. It's like not even having a road. It's like having a dead end sign. Nobody's going to drive down a road that's unpaved, a road that has nothing on it, right? So your road needs to consist of traffic. And I've given you guys something that you might not even, appreciate. Let's be honest. I've given you over 250 lives that I've done of consistency. And the one thing that I often tell you guys, which you might overlook, is that if you decide to partner with me, I don't hoard this information for myself. I actually share this with my community. And this content that I've created is not just for me, it's for the overall community. It's for you to be able to use to your benefit, to share with the people that you vibe with. So if you vibe with me and you're my target audience, then hopefully you attract like-minded people that's just like us. Because everybody isn't like us. That's cool. But if you're like me and I'm like you, then hopefully the people that you attract are like us, right? That's the goal. That's a basic foundational thing that you have to live by. This is one of those keys to success. Never put yourself in a situation where you're outside of your circle. Never put yourself in a situation where you're forced to have to be something that you're not, and surround yourself with people that are not like you. If you come from a good environment, if you come from privilege and things like that, cool. It's okay to have some friends and stuff like that that don't have it like you do. But it's also very important for you to surround yourself with like-minded people, people that, has lived a certain lifestyle that's similar to yours, so that you can be able to have some people that you relate to. And then they'll have people that relate to you, so that when they bring somebody in the circle, you'll be able to easily identify and communicate with them. And that's how things grow. That's how things expand. That's how you build a network. You don't want to be the person that, you know, let's just say, for example, you was raised on a farm and all you know is pigs and cows. And then one day you're transported to, a New York City, Brooklyn environment, and you're there and you're introduced to these people that have never even, you know, don't even know what a garden tool look like, never touched a cow or a pig before in their life, never petted no animal like that. And now you're trying to build something within this community and nobody understands what you're talking about. And they're going to start bringing more people in that relate to them because you're the only farmer in this town. You're the only one. Now, the only way you can possibly change that is if you go back to your hometown or wherever you're from or wherever there's people that's like you and try to get them to come to this new environment. Now, let's think about it. Let's use this as a teachable moment. And this is how life works. And it works like that in the online world. See, me, myself personally, I can put myself in various circles because I've experienced so many things in life. And I've been, in communities where, city life, and I've worked and built in communities where it's country, where your nearest neighbor might be, a half a mile up the road and you on a farm. So I've learned how to connect with various people. But imagine you being a certain type of person, and in that scenario, you're a farmer and you're trying to bring another farmer up to Brooklyn, New York. And you're telling them beforehand, oh, this is the great opportunity. You're going to love it here. You're going to love it here. Um, it's so much opportunity. They get there and they see it's nothing like home. It's nothing like being on that farm. Now you brought them into a situation where they're not comfortable. They don't belong. Now, this is something you have to think about in your online business. Imagine you being a creative person, a person that's, about excitement and action, a person that likes to party, a person that like to be upbeat and happy, and you know, and your community of people that you connect with, that you relate to, they're the same. And then you tell them about a business opportunity, and you know that on a regular basis you have to attend trainings. That the major part of this business opportunity is that that you attend trainings. But you know for a fact that the trainings is nothing like the party scene. It's nothing like that environment that you know you personally really enjoy. And then you start inviting your friends there. And then what the conversation becomes, they're watching, they're waiting for the party to happen, and the party never occurs because this is not the community for them. Now the conversation when they meet up with you is like, yo, that that shit right there was corny. Like, how could you invite me to something like that? Or you made me pay my money for that. You told me to come there. Yo, it wasn't even no it wasn't no drinks. It wasn't nothing. Like, you know, what we talking about? Imagine doing that in real life. Inviting your friends or people that you're connected to an area that they wouldn't necessarily fit in. A lot of you guys are trying to do that. A lot of you put yourself in business opportunities where you know damn well you don't even enjoy the process. So in your spirit, it's hard for you to even share the opportunity because you know that people that are like you or that connect most with you, they wouldn't enjoy it either. So that's one of the reality checks that you have to, kind of resolve with yourself. Am I leading people to a place that I don't even want to be in? Or that's not even as exciting to me as, you know, I know it's not going to be exciting to them. But, you know, I'm getting a little deep into the weeds, as they say, right? But content creation, building the traffic. If you build a content creation system that's talking about you have this exciting opportunity, and then, you know, you invite people to it, and they join, and they end up finding out that, you know, what's on the inside has nothing to do with what you actually promoted in your content. That's going to make for a bad situation. It's like getting people amped up for something, and then once when they go, they find out that it's a whole other situation. So part of the hustleverse core skill sets is making sure that you create the right content. And once when you create the right content, you want to move forward. You want to move forward, and you want to have your funnel. You want to start building your funnel. Now, building the funnel, it could be, a funnel is something that is essentially about taking a person from one phase to the next phase to the next phase. Back in the day, when I was more into network marketing, we would have called a funnel basically a BAM FAM system, which is book a meeting from a meeting. So a funnel is like a meeting type of situation. You invite somebody to a call back in the day. No, you invite somebody to look at uh, uh, a video presentation. They look at the presentation, and then, after it's done, you ask them, hey, what did you like best about that? They tell you what they like best about that. And then you follow up with them. You invite them to the next stage. You invite them to a live training or so, or you invite them to get on a business call to discuss what they saw even more. That's a form of a funnel. So we're going to learn how to build our own funnel systems, right? And we're going to use specific tools, or a specific tool, a simple, easy tool that I use consistently, right? that I've been using consistently for the last, you know, it's been part of my tool set for at least a year now. But you're going to be able to create your own funnel system where you have what we call a landing page. You might also create a bridge page. So it's kind of like, hey, having that initial video to show your potential client or your target audience what it is that you want them to see and know about. And then you want to find out if they're really interested. And then you take them to the next stage, that bridge page, where you give them more information. You go a little bit more in depth. You give them an exclusive training, more information about that product or service. And then once when they're ready, then you share with them the opportunity to get access to the product. So that's part of the funnel. So you never jump straight to the product because you don't know if they really need it or want it, or if it's for them, or if it can actually help them, right? So your content has to be aligned with your funnel. Now, whatever your funnel is, it could be a website, a landing page, a bridge page, and then the product, or it could be a blog. It could be anything you want. It could be that initial song, right? Which is part of your content, right? So your content is part of your funnel. So we don't want to separate those two too much, but your content is part of your funnel and it's going to lead the person to want to take the next step. So you got to start building that. But we're going to use specific tools in order to get that done. And then the last part, which is follow up. So while you're going through these processes, while you're creating the content, you're getting traffic. You're getting traffic and you're leading the traffic to your funnel. And then as you're leading the traffic to your funnel, you want to make sure that you are following up with each person. You want to make sure that this traffic right here, you're following up with them. You're following up with the traffic and you're leading them in the right direction. You're leading them to whatever your product or service might be. So you follow up with your traffic, and there's multiple ways you can do that, right? So part of your funnel, it includes one of the most powerful tools that you have access to, and that's your email. So you follow up via email, sending constant communication so that they are never out of your sight, so that you're able to invite them to the next party or the next live training or the next presentation, whatever it is, right? And you keep the cycle going. You never stop following up. You never stop creating content. But once when you build your funnel, then you can start split testing your funnel, right? So you never really have to build the funnel from ground up after you do it right the first time. So that's one of your foundational tools right here, your funnel. Once when it's built, it's like that foundation. It'll be able to withstand whatever you want to put on top of it. And you can tear down whatever it is that you put on top of it and rebuild on top of it. But that foundation, that funnel can stay intact throughout all of this process. But you can do what we call split testing. And I just want to show you guys another couple of slides because it represents, split testing and what it is that we do on a daily basis. It represents also the funnel. So in this first slide right here, I've been sharing on my social media. And at the top, it says, are you just getting traffic or are you getting conversions and sales? So we want to get the traffic, and we got the traffic because we had something, a form of content to present to our traffic. Now, this form of content that we had was just a simple landing page. It was the first door to them actually getting access to what we want them to have access to. So I created multiple doors, right? So in the funnel creation, I did a split test, could go through. One door is a lot more attractive than the other door. As you can see here, 71.43%. So almost 3 out of 4 people or traffic that went by said, hey, I want to go inside and I want to see what's inside. As compared to this one right here, 38%. So let's say more close to 1 in 3 people, right? And then the next phase of it was this right here. That same one, 70%, right? It ticked up a little bit. But then this one right here, the one that was at 30 something percent, 38%, it ticked up a lot because we optimized the funnel. Now, we did small tweaks to it to make it better. We didn't destroy that foundation, right? We didn't destroy the foundation. We just made a couple of tweaks. We repaved it, made it a little bit smoother. It's kind of like that. You go into a business and, either they got dull floors, or you go into a business and you can see your reflection in their floors. They're highly polished. And you're looking at the floors as you're walking. You're looking down and you see this shiny floor. And you're like, man, this is high quality. This is, you look at the aesthetics of the building, the marbling and everything like that. And you say, hey, I'm in a place of value. And what happens? Things tick up. And then we move on to the next stage. Things tick up even more. So you got the marble floors in, it's shiny and everything. And then you start looking at the receptionists and everything, whoever's at the counter, whatever it is, they look very presentable. And then things start to get a little bit better. Things start to convert at a higher rate. And then after that, what happens? People say, this is the place that I want to be in. And that's when results start to happen. You start to get sales. You start to get people that say, hey, I want to invest in this. These floors look good. These floors look like something that I can eat off of. The receptionist or whoever was at the front desk, they were pleasant. They answered all my questions. The presentation was what it was supposed to be about. And then when I got inside, I was given everything that I came to expect. And I was given those things because that's what I expected. I came in, I saw the content, came into the funnel, it looked uniform. These people followed up with me. They cared enough to want to know how my experience was. And then they kept on taking me through. They kept on building with me. So this right here is part of the Hustleverse core skill sets, something that we're going to be teaching and learning about. But you're only going to learn about it if you decide that you want to partner with me. If you decide that I'm your target audience, the right person to lead you in the direction of getting results, then we can build something together. But if you're not my target audience, then I advise you to find somebody else that can help you on this journey. But what we're going to do here, I'm going to make you guys an offer. I want to invite you to join me inside the Hustleverse. I want you to go back to what I always call and consider the most valuable document in all of online marketing. I want you to start right here with what I consider to be the second line in the document, where it says grab your mega link. And is it free? No. But anybody that's my target audience understands that in order to build, you have to invest. You have to invest time, energy, effort, and you have to invest financially into yourself. It's not about you purchasing something. It's about you investing in yourself and saying that you are the one to get the job done. Now, the great thing about this is that the investment is minimal. So to get started is just a one-time $7 investment. That's the entry fee to get you inside the door. Once when you get inside the door and you start to see the marble floor and you start to see what's available to you, then the next step is you might want to go talk to the receptionist. You might want to understand more about what we have to offer. You might want to, you know, get the follow-up messages that further fuels you and feeds you what you need in order to become successful. And then when you're ready to step it up, then you might be ready to get access to your tools that you need in order to make things that we're sharing here possible. Getting the conversions, getting the funnel builder itself that will allow you to take advantage of the content that you're going to be creating. See, we're going to be creators, we're going to be builders here. And unlike other places where they tell you, hey, to keep it simple, you just want to be basic and average. No. Here in the Hustleverse, we are not basic people. We are not average people. We are above average people that are capable of doing so much more than what people tell us we are capable of. That's the difference that I want to bring to you here. I'm not for lazy ass people. I'm not for people that don't want to do anything or don't want to learn and don't want to put forth any effort. I hate those type of people. Now, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real honest. I hate when somebody tells me that, oh, this and that is so easy or whatever. You don't have to do this. You don't have to learn that. Bump that, man. Don't tell me what I don't need to learn and what I don't need to know about and how easy something is, because where I come from, life has never been easy and life will never be easy. So I'm accustomed to doing work. I'm accustomed to being a builder, not just a talker. And 95% of people online, they're a bunch of talkers. If you put a hammer and a screwdriver in their hand, they wouldn't be able to build nothing with it. They'll be able to hold the screwdriver and hammer in their hand, and they'll just start talking to you about it. Well, this is a hammer. It can build stuff. This is a screwdriver. You can use this to unscrew screws and screw in stuff. And these tools, they work great together. Okay, I understand that. I'm not a kid. I understand these are tools. Show me what you can do with these tools. Show me that you know how to actually use these tools, that these aren't just something that you found one day and you just made a business or a lifestyle out of just being able to talk about it, and you've never actually used the tools yourself, or you're not capable of using the tools. See, we different over here, and that's my target audience. My target audience are people that will tell you to shut up. I don't want to hear no more. Let's get to the action. That's my target audience. That's the people that I feel most comfortable with, and that's the people that I build with. So with that, if you're interested in building and putting in the work, I want you to comment hustle. And as the old saying go, if you scared, go to church. Maybe you can, get the results you want there by, just asking and hoping and wishing that somebody else is going to do it for you and make it all easy. But if you're really ready to put in the work and do it yourself, then the Hustleverse is where you need to be. And if you're not afraid to invest in yourself, then this is where you need to be, because I invest in everything that I do. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into my own personal business. So a little $7 investment ain't nothing to me. $1,000 investment ain't nothing to me, because I understand that in order to earn six figures, sometimes you have to possibly invest six figures. That's grown man, grown woman business. And if you're ready to be a grown man or a grown woman, then the Hustleverse is where you need to be. So I want you to comment hustle. I want you to click the link in the description of this video, because access to the doc and getting started is always there. So you have no excuse as to why you can't get started. And I want to just say this before we close out. Welcome to the Hustleverse, where creativity clocks in and excuses clock out. And if you're the type of person that makes excuses, the doors are locked to you. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. This is the next leg of the journey. If you're ready, join us. If not, see you guys. We're going to see you where we see you. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed once again. Join us tomorrow, 9 a.m. EST time. Once again, have a great rest of your day.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create, etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day, turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal ping, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create, etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day, turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type. Blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat I